Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to talk about another case that I came across very randomly. And it's not a brand new case, but the sentencing happened relatively recently, so I did want to talk about it here. Now all this began because I was on Twitter scrolling and then I saw this video of this girl being arrested. I didn't really understand the context, so I looked into it and I'll show you the video too because yikes. Anyway, Court of Appeals upholds Mackenzie Shirrilla's murder conviction in deadly Strongsville crash. Mackenzie Shirrilla was sentenced to 15 years to life behind bars for the deadly crash, which killed 2 people on July 31st, 2022. More than a year after Mackenzie Shirrilla was found guilty of murder and sentenced to 15 years to life behind bars for killing 20-year-old Dominic Russo and 19-year-old Devon Flanagan in a Strongsville crash, the 8th District Court of Appeals has upheld her conviction. Here's the full text from the court's decision, which is dated on September 26th. So, I don't know if the article is going to get super into it later, but basically what she did, she was driving in the car with her boyfriend and a friend of theirs. She drove at 100 miles per hour and crashed the car on purpose. She was the only survivor of the crash. The defendant's convictions for murder and felonious assault were supported by sufficient evidence and were not against the manifest weight of the evidence. Several witnesses testified that she and her boyfriend were in a loving relationship and that the defendant suffered from a medical condition that can cause dizziness. But the defendant had previously threatened to crash her car with her boyfriend inside during a fight. The defendant then did crash her car into a wall, killing the boyfriend and another passenger. A mechanical inspection revealed no latent mechanical defects that could have caused the crash. A medical examination of the defendant after the crash revealed no significant physical or mental abnormalities that would be indicative of a seizure or other neurological event. Data from the vehicle's computer revealed that the accelerator was depressed to 100% and that the driver had not once hit the brake before hitting the wall. After reviewing the entire record, this was not the exceptional case where the evidence weighed heavily against conviction. For the same reason that there was sufficient evidence to sustain the conviction, the state's presentation of salient pieces of evidence to the juvenile court was sufficient to establish probable cause for a mandatory transfer of the case to the Common Pleas Court for criminal prosecution. Evidence of the defendant's past threats and verbal and physical violence towards her boyfriend was appropriately introduced not as character evidence, but to establish motive, intent, and the absence of mistake or accident. It was not an abuse of discretion for the trial court to limit the defense in its cross-examination of 2 witnesses. This court declined to find plain error from the medical examiner's amendment to certain autopsy conclusions based on the unique circumstances of the case and this court's precedent. So, based on all of this, there was no, or there seemingly is no even potential hypothetical situation where this crash was an accident or something fucked up with the car. It all seems, as of right now, intentional. And honestly, based on the description they're giving of her in terms of her being toxic and honestly it seems somewhat abusive, but anyway, based on that description, it's not super surprising if she tried to pull something like that, considering she had also claimed prior that she would crash the car, which is... I'm not one to say things are red flags just out of nowhere, because for a lot of things there's context, there's people's trauma, blah, 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 blah. That being said, if you're ever in a car and someone's mad at you or something's going on and they threaten to crash that car, that is the singular and only red flag you need to get the fuck out immediately. So here there's some case details to give a little bit of background. So it says, it's a case that dates back to Sunday, July 31st, 2022, when Strongsville police say a crash happened at 6:15 a.m. near the intersection of Progress and Alameda. Upon their arrival, officers said they located a Toyota Camry with severe damage and full airbag deployments. All 3 occupants inside the vehicle, including Shirrilla, were unconscious, not breathing, and trapped inside the vehicle. Russo, Shirrilla's boyfriend, and Flanagan were both pronounced dead at the scene. This was not reckless driving, this was murder. County Common Pleas Judge Nancy Margaret Russo said moments before announcing her verdict in the bench trial on August 14th, 2023. Shirrilla, who was 17 years old at the time of the crash, was found guilty on all counts, including 4 counts of murder, 4 counts of felonious assault, and 2 counts of aggravated vehicular homicide. She morphs from a responsible driver to literal hell on wheels as she makes her way down the street, Judge Russo continued while announcing her verdict. Mackenzie alone made the decision to drive an obscure route, a route she visited a few days before, and a route not routinely taken by her. Mackenzie alone chose a time to make the drive early in the morning when any reasonable person would expect a few people would be nearby to witness it or offer life-saving assistance. She made these decisions despite knowing, as any reasonable person would, that her mission of death could have involved others not even in the car with her. Other people, other cars, pedestrians. Judge Russo said Sharilla had a mission and executed it with precision. Mackenzie alone decided to push the pedal to the floor and demand the ultimate speed of that vehicle to 92 miles per hour. She alone decided what was to be. Mackenzie decided death was the ultimate goal that day, and she alone made that decision for Dominic and Davion. So another thing here, and I think this goes for any type of murder done in public, especially I'm talking about with cars, things like that. The murder goes without saying. Unspeakable, unacceptable, disgusting, all of that, of course. But the fact is that these people are so delusional or so self-centered, whatever we really want to call it, that they really don't take into account that car crashes can very easily cause death beyond like your car, right? So if her goal was to kill her boyfriend and the friend, that's one thing. But the thing is, if your car catches fire, if it explodes, if it spins out of control, there are other cars that will be coming in the opposite direction, but also in the same direction as you, who might be paying for your choice to do this. So obviously the murder is heinous, but it's also the fact that you're not even considering everybody else you're dragging into your weird murder plan. I don't know what to call it. The prosecution said Sharilla crashed the car to end her toxic and tumultuous relationship with Russo. There is no doubt that this happened because of the relationship with Dominic, and the defendant's intent was clearly to end that, and she took everybody that was in the car with her, said Tim Troup of the county prosecutor's office. So Sharilla was sentenced on August 21st, 2023, and it says, "To the families of Dom and Davion, I am so deeply sorry," Sharilla said while reading a statement prior to learning her fate in the case. "I hope one day you can see how I'd never let this happen or do it on purpose. I wish I could remember what happened. I'm just so sorry. I'm heartbroken. I love Dom and Davion. We were all friends and Dom was my soulmate. I wish I could take all your pain away. I'm so sorry. And to my family, thank you for the support and all the love you guys give. Thank you for fighting with me. I love you all so much." No matter what you believe of this statement, I don't believe any of it. I think it's all straight up lies. Like I said earlier, I did come across this on Twitter. When I came across this on Twitter, basically she was getting handcuffed and she was more concerned about her bracelet than the fact that she was getting handcuffed, which is tragic and comical at the same time, in the sense of, you killed 2 people, you're going to prison for a really long time, and you're concerned about the bracelet that they're not even going to let you wear in prison. Like, what? And I think that that's part also of what makes people more against her, because even if you were willing to give her the benefit of the doubt, when you see someone being that real fucking cold with the cops when they're going to prison for, I don't know, killing their boyfriend and a friend, you'd think that the bracelet doesn't really matter that much, right?
You're under arrest for aggravated murder ×2, okay? Nobody's gonna ask you any questions. Nobody's gonna bother you. Can I have your key, please?
Could you please be careful taking this one off so it doesn't break the bracelet, please?
You got it. You got it. No.
Thank you.
You got it. Okay, just keep your hands right here.
Now, I can't speak to reactions regarding trauma or other things because I don't know if that's part of what was going on here, but certainly people didn't really have a lot of benevolence to offer her once she was concerned about her silly bracelet instead of, I don't know, going to prison for 15 to life because you're a murderer. Anyway, you guys can let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons as always, and I'll catch you guys next time.